How long is massage therapy school?
It kind of depends. I think it can be like pretty flexible and it's like state to state, depends on the hours, but I did it full time and it was 6 months.
What made you focus on what you're currently doing?
I'd say like what I'm currently doing is an amalgamation of what I've picked up and learned over the 14 years that I've been practicing.
How do you create that environment? What are some key things you do?
Yeah, so lighting is huge, sound is huge, and really make sure that the room is as like dark as possible.
Welcome to the Chris Salerno Show, your go-to for real estate, business, health, and family insight. I'm Chris Salerno, CEO of QC Capital. Each episode, we explore the latest trends and expert advice from industry leaders. Whether you're an investor, entrepreneur, or seeking balance, this show provides an inspiration you need. Join us and elevate your game on the Chris Salerno Show.
Welcome to the Chris Salerno Show. I'm your host, Chris Salerno. Excited to be here with Claudio. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you came on as a referral from a good friend of both of us.
Yeah.
And why don't we give the listeners a little background about who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I've been a massage and bodywork therapist for actually this month will be 14 years.
Wow.
I got into it kind of accidentally. I was in the middle of getting an exercise science degree at UNC Charlotte.
Okay.
To pay for school, I was in the Army Reserves. And
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, it's Veterans Day.
Yeah, it is.
I went on a year-long deployment, came back, had to wait a year to get back into school, and I was just kind of like, man, I have a lot of cobwebs. I need to sort of like flex my brain, learn something new. And a friend suggested I go to massage therapy school, and that was like a really amazing way to sort of like come back into like regular life and a great healing journey that exposed me to all kinds of movement therapies, yoga, meditation, breath work.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we're definitely going to dive into that. How long is massage therapy school?
It kind of depends. I think it can be like pretty flexible and it's like state to state.
Okay.
Depends on the hours, but I did it full time and it was 6 months.
Okay.
And I think for a lot of people, it's kind of like drinking water through a fire hose. It's like a lot of anatomy and physiology information and stuff
Really?
like that. But I'd already taken a lot of that stuff at UNC
So
Charlotte.
that came pretty natural.
Yeah.
Nice. And so going in to that school, they teach you breath work and meditation and things like that as well?
Yeah, actually, it would not a whole lot about breath work, but they do sort of like talk about a lot of different modalities. Meditation, definitely. You know, is a really stark and hilarious contrast going from a military deployment to then paying money to an institution that literally made me hug a tree.
Wow.
During the school process. So it was it was a nice sort of like duality of experiences that I think gave me like a wide range of who I am.
No, very much so. That's definitely two ends of the spectrum there. And so with what you do today, you know, what made you really land on that? I know you said you were going through school, but, you know, from my knowledge, there's multiple different type of avenues you can take massage therapy. And it's not just a regular massage. Like,
Sure.
You can do a lot with it. So what made you focus on what you're currently doing?
So I'd say like what I'm currently doing is an amalgamation of what I've picked up and learned over the 14 years that I've been practicing.
Got it.
When I first started, I was very focused on like the clinical aspects of massage, right? So because of my exercise science degree, I really focused a lot on about like biomechanics. Folks came to me for like really specific issues and like movement issues, and they still do. But over time, I started to really value the sort of nervous system downregulation, and so folks really also needing an experience of just calm.
I think that's huge.
Right? Yeah.
I was in Capri, Italy, and I got a massage when I was out there from the hotel.
Yeah.
And the whole just atmosphere walking in, just puts you in that state of mind. And then you had a sauna, steam room, a nice little jacuzzi that you had access to, and it was just a whole different state of mind.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's, you know, everybody has slightly different goals and like what they want out of the experience, and I really enjoy sort of I still kind of like work clinically, but the overall vibe and feel is like nurturing, soft space for people to just like really engage their like parasympathetic nervous system and just chill.
Yeah. And how do you create that environment? What are some key things you do?
Yeah, so lighting is huge. Sound is huge. I'm also a musician and sound artist. So
Okay, nice.
I'm really particular about. Well, I like to sort of read folks as they come in.
Okay, you feel their energy.
Yeah, and I kind
Yeah.
of like meet them where they are. And if folks kind of come in and I notice that they really need to go to outer
Wind
space,
down,
just
yeah.
I'll put on some like healing tones and really make sure that the room is as like dark as possible.
Yeah.
And then if folks sort of, you know, if they come in the middle of the day and need to get to work or do other things and sort of like be productive with the rest of their day, then it's a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more engaging.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. And you have 14 years. It's a lot of data that you've gathered.
Yeah.
What would you say is really big and consistent amongst all of the clients that you have?
I mean, there's specific trends throughout the year, right? And throughout the like cycle of the year, of like the 12 months, right?
For sure.
I'd say across the board, I think it's an unfortunate side effect to having such like a tech-heavy society.
Oh, yeah.
Folks aren't as in community as much, and like we're communal creatures,
Yeah.
and like I think as many positives as we have with moving forward and like advancements in technology, that's also made us sort of like, what's a good word? But I guess we've become a lot more individualistic.
Yeah.
And with that, there is a really big need for touch and conversation and connection. And I think, beyond the work of like very specific, say, like muscle structures or like movements that you want to work on, I think most of the people find the biggest value in just being able to like come and like chill in a room and connect with someone. And I think that overall, like across the board, is what a lot of folks need, and like that's their biggest need coming in. I'd say the second one is like most folks typically complain about like, oh, I carry my stress in my shoulders, my shoulders are in my ears, or I have a lot of lower back pain. And a lot of that kind of can also tend to come from living in like a very like tech heavy society, like there's a term tech neck,
Oh yeah,
It's
where
just
everyone's neck's over.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So
You see it in the airport. Sometimes I just like to people watch.
Oh,
and
yeah.
when I'm in the airport, you just see everyone on their phones.
yeah. And that has trickle down effects in
Oh my God,
in all kinds of areas of life, but
Yeah.
it certainly keeps me busy at work.
For sure. How do you set goals, on a per client basis? And what I mean by that is, if I come in and say, hey, my back, upper back hurts, obviously you're going to, address that. But is it based off of the energy, the feel? I mean, obviously each client's different. Some are going to come in complaining that they have, certain issues.
Sure.
Others that are going to come in and say, hey, I need to zone out.
Yeah.
So how do you really back into, really setting up, or is it cookie cutter where you mainly do a certain thing for everybody unless they request, hey, I need my a little deep tissue on the top.
Sure. So my approach, there's a somewhat cookie cutter way of assessment, but beyond that, it's like the assessment sort of shows what folks will need, either energetically or physically, movement wise. And so pain is very complex. And I think that there's a lot of kind of like faulty information about like where pain can come from. And so the way that I set up goals for clients is I have conversations with them that sort of empowers them with like a little bit more knowledge about their body than when they came in.
That's
And if I try to be like very upfront, if I don't know something or if I need to learn more, then I'll let folks know.
Yeah.
Or if what they come with is like beyond my capacity for care, then I like to sort of like
Oh,
let
for
them
sure.
know to find other folks.
How is dieting, really impacting the body from your perspective? Like we're obviously if you're not eating healthy, you don't, weigh what you're supposed to weigh obviously that's different. But how is dieting from a health perspective?
Yeah, so I mean, like all of this kind of can present in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
I think so. Beyond like muscles and like the physical body, the mechanics of everything, I think massage works a lot within the nervous system, right? That's like the biggest effect that I'll have on any client is generally within their nervous system. And so we know that diet and exercise, particularly diet, if you're not drinking enough water, if you're not meeting your needs of macros or micros, like that sets you up for an already sort of like agitated nervous system, right? So it can...
Which that can transfer anywhere, but on the body.
Anywhere. So sometimes, if I feel that a client needs help from a nutritionist, I generally don't go into that part
realm
of
it.
Into the realm,
Mm-hmm.
and I sort of say like, hey, maybe looking into finding time with a nutritionist would be like a good idea.
People don't realize like what you put into your body is fuel.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And when you're putting food in there that is not healthy for you, you're not going to feel good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I guess at this point I'm 30, I'm almost 39. And I think we've all lived through different eras of
sure.
feeding our bodies or
I mean,
not
you
feeding our
and I grew
bodies.
up in the supersizing era where McDonald's wanted to supersize everything.
Yeah. What a time.
You're a loser if you don't supersize it. That's how they portrayed it.
Sure,
And then
yeah.
everyone wanted to play the Monopoly, and the Monopoly was only on the supersize. So you got to, get the large fries and the supersized drink, and that's just how it was.
Yeah, and I mean, on top of that, we live. I think I know you've done a lot of traveling. I feel like in the South of the United States, we have an excess of like fried foods. I'd say like
we'll fry anything.
Oreos,
Twinkies, whatever.
Fried Snickers.
Yeah, we fried all.
Yeah, and so I think that when you travel to, and it's changing. I think as like Charlotte grows, specifically.
I think the United States is waking up.
Yeah.
And is it JFK Jr. or not? But the United States is waking up. Just on the food groups. But when you go to Italy, the food over there is amazing.
Yeah.
I hope you're enjoying today's episode. Just a quick reminder to make sure you never miss an episode. Stay connected with us by following us on social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok, at Chris_Salerno_. And don't forget to subscribe to YouTube to catch the video versions of our episode. You'll get exclusive content, behind-the-scenes footage, and much more. Head over to YouTube, Chris_Salerno now, and hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned because we've got more great content coming right after this. You could feel how healthy it is, the bread, the pizza, everything. And I, funny enough, my son loves bagels, so I was getting him a bagel, and a lady ordered a gluten-free bagel. And I was like, oh, is that good? And she goes, well, I don't eat bread. And I said, I don't either in America. I try to limit my bread consumption substantially. And she says, but when I'm in Europe, I eat all the bread I want. And I said, yeah, because there's no chemicals. It's fresh.
Yeah.
And it probably won't last that evening.
Yeah.
So, they made it that morning, and it probably won't last that evening.
Yeah.
Where here, bread will last a couple months.
Yeah. That's tricky.
And I was saying this on the podcast, and I say this all the time now, is that to me it doesn't make sense that we are going to put food in our system that the food expires in a couple years from now. So you're saying, the food I'm about to eat expires in 2 years, 2028 or 2027, and I'm putting that into my system? How's that okay?
Yeah. I mean, I think
and my body has to now process something like that.
I think it's really funny with something as specific as like a marshmallow. I like to go camping a lot.
Okay.
And people like to make s'mores. I don't know if you've ever thrown a marshmallow into fire,
Oh,
but
I
like
have.
it like just kind of it doesn't really go anywhere. It just
Yep.
kind of like bubbles, and it's just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
whoa, we're putting
Disintegrates.
that in
Yeah.
our body. You
Oh
know?
my God, yeah.
So,
And then your body has to process it.
yeah, exactly. So, I think good like rules of thumb are always just like whole foods,
Yeah.
the least amount of ingredients as possible. I don't eat a whole lot of meat, but it's like an occasional meat eating. But I do really love all kinds of fruits and vegetables.
I love that. I think the big thing is snacking. Like people
Yeah.
divulge in snacking, and when you snack, you got to make sure you snack with the right things. Like
Sure.
for me, I snack with like coconut yogurt or strawberries or blueberries or pineapple.
Mhm.
Like that's my type of snacking.
Mhm.
Whereas other people will try anything and everything.
Yeah. I mean, diet is crucial. I've heard this analogy for a long time, but it's like you're not going to get a car running if you just put like, I don't know, just coconut oil in there. You need gas,
Yeah.
So, and fortunately we're developed enough in health tech that and knowledge that we have people that can help us with that practice.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think more and more people are opening their eyes up to the food system and what they're putting in to their system.
Yeah.
But I mean, from your perspective, the nervous system obviously impacts everything on your body.
Oh yeah.
And it's important to make sure that's under control.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. When it comes to you talked about lighting, you talked about sound. How long? I mean, for me, I like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
How long do you feel like that sweet spot is? To really get into that zone and zone out.
Sure. I mean, I think it depends on it's the answer to everything. It depends. Sometimes folks will only have an hour.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I think, what I like to tell my clients is if they have something specific to work on and don't necessarily need like a full body or anything like that, an hour is a plenty of time.
Yeah.
If they have something specific to work on, say like hips or hamstrings or something like that, but they'd still like to get work elsewhere, then 90 minutes is generally ideal. Like
Yeah.
I generally don't want to rush through a session, and folks can definitely like feel that,
Oh, for sure.
So I like to sort of like give plenty of time to sort of like address the needs that folks have.
Yeah.
And then also, if there's like a little bit of extra time to do some like feel good stuff at the very end, then I'll make for that.
What do you do personally to not have that energy transfer? Because I can come in with a lot of energy.
Sure.
And I'm a very strong believer that that energy can stay in the room, and that energy can transfer to you, and then you transfer that energy to someone else. Between clients, what do you do personally to really make sure that energy is clear?
Yeah, so it's like a between clients and like during clients as well. I definitely agree we are all just like resonators.
Yeah.
So in between clients, I like to move as much as possible. I mean, in between clients during the day, I'm always like stretching or moving or breathing, and
Yep.
so I move with an intention to sort of like let that like whatever kind of energy could have affected me, just to sort of like let that move through. I also like to smudge with like sage, and I also have a couple different like noise makers. Rattles and chimes have been used by humans forever to sort of like calm, to clear. So I like to use those audio tools as well to sort of like clear in between clients, clear myself, clear the room. And then like during the session, something that I think is really an important part before we even start any sort of manual therapy, I have them just sit down and talk to me and let me know what's going on in their body, what's going on in their mind.
Yeah.
And, sometimes people have a lot to share, sometimes they don't, and that's
Yeah.
okay. But generally, if they have something to share, that feels heavy or sticky, or before they get on the table, I have them like breathe, or I'll use a chime or something like that, and it kind of helps just kind of set the intention of just letting go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's super important. I meditate, huge believer in meditation. I do guided meditation as well with breath work.
Awesome.
I enjoy it. It helps me get my mind and take away from, all of my day-to-day that I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
I think it's huge.
Yeah. Personally, I could stand to be better at meditating. I do find a lot of like meditative practice like through movement, and through my movement practices, and also through music. But I'd say that any sort of like intentional time for presence of mind, and like presence of self is pretty important.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I definitely agree on that. Definitely agree. Where do you where do you see your business moving into 2026? Where do you see it flourishing to?
Well, I think that over the last few years, it's been really since COVID, it's been really obvious to me that there's a lot of work to do in connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily think of my business in terms of like financial growth, but in terms of like the work that I do that affects people in a positive way, and the potential that it has to reverberate out into a community that I'm invested in. And so the mission has kind of always been like, I can't change everything in the world,
Correct.
but I can affect the people who are directly in contact with me. And so that's the sort of like big mission for growth in 2026.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. How has technology or AI, has it impacted at all? I mean, obviously your business is more hands-on, but
Yeah.
has it helped you become a better individual and provide better service to your clients? Talk to me about that.
I think that AI has kind of created.
I've seen some AI robots out there that are doing it, but it's still not that human touch.
Yeah, I'd say the way, if any, effect that AI has had on my work, or like any folks' work in this field, it is sort of like creation of information that folks come with. So a lot of times, like, people will try to Google search or something, before they seek out any services and stuff. And unfortunately, a lot of times, like, some of that information can be like pretty sketchy. So I think it's important for a lot of like body workers, trainers, therapists, dietitians to sort of like guide folks in the right direction as far as information goes.
Yeah, most definitely. You're spot on with that. I
Yeah.
agree. ChatGPT can be a worst nightmare sometimes. So you got to be careful. All right, we always like to leave our listeners with one question that is consistent amongst all individuals that have been on the podcast, and that is, if you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice about success in business or life, what would it be?
I'd say that comparison. Let me make a thought about comparison. The idea that like comparison is the thief of joy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think people's idea of success really needs to be like their own idea of success.
Yeah.
And whether financial, love, life, family, whatever, like
it's our own journey.
It's our own journey, and we have to sort of like stick to that. It's certainly not bad to find inspiration through others,
mentors or coaches,
or mentors, but really just there's a phrase in bicycle riding. It's like ride your own ride.
Mm-hmm.
Ride your own ride. Just don't worry about like what everybody else is doing. Just kind of find your lane, ride your ride.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Wealth of knowledge when it comes to that industry, and very excited to have people explore it more. I think you feel phenomenal. I know when I was in Capri and I had mine, I was just in a whole different world.
Awesome.
Thankfully, I woke up in Capri, and it was beautiful. With great food and great views, but it is beautiful, and it makes you feel good. And not only that, you make that individual feel good, but I'm sure when they leave your office, they make other people feel good because they're in that mood, that energy, that state of mind.
Yeah.
So I
Thank
love
you
it.
so much for having me.
Most definitely.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chris Salerno Show. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insight to help you along your journey. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any questions or topics that you would like to cover, feel free to reach out directly to me. Shoot me a message on Instagram at Chris_Salerno_. Until next time, keep pushing forward and stay inspired.